This is Edward Norton from Beyond the Stream. I'm coming to you from Amsterdam for the 2023 edition of IBC. We're going to be speaking with key stakeholders to understand where they think the industry's going, what's happened at this year's edition, what they possibly think could happen in the future. Stick with us to find out now. Hi everyone, we're here with Alexis Guy from Cleeng, and we're going to be talking about past, present and future in the OTT industry. Thank you for doing this, Alexis.
With pleasure.
Great to meet you. So, over the past year, what do you think the best innovation has been in our industry?
It's an excellent question. I was trying to think a bit about how to answer it, and there are so many different innovations. Let's be clear. The one thing that is, I don't know if we can call it an innovation, but what was really interesting to see is how the companies, especially in the streaming business, adapt to the ways that consumers want to get their content. How do they want to monetize it, or how do the consumers pay for it? It can be through AVOD, as we already know, it can be through SVOD, but everything around the hybrid models with the evolution of FAST, how do we fine tune, how do we find the best tier for the customer?
And then on to the present, what's been your biggest surprise at the show this year?
It's another good one. Well, it's not even technology related, actually. Once again, everyone is doing a great job. What was super surprising, and I've heard 3 people tell me the exact same, is that everyone is speaking about the same. So somehow every single conversation we've been having feels very natural. Everyone is speaking about reducing costs, improving ARPU, or average revenue per user. Everyone is speaking about how do we best deliver the content to the fans or to the subscribers. So how do we all become more customer centric?
Yeah, I think the focus needs to be on the customer as well if we're going to serve them best. And then on to the future, where do you think the industry is going over the next 5 years?
I think it's a bit related to this common sense and about the customers. Everyone is trying to optimize. There's so much competition in the market between the different platforms, between, let's say, those who only do streaming and SVOD, those who do live, those who do sports. Everyone is trying to differentiate themselves, that's sure. However, we still continue to try to understand, what does the data say? What is the objective view on a given, let's say, subscriber base? How do we best retain customers? How do we leverage this data to improve ROI, to reduce costs, and so on and so forth?
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Alexis. I hope you have a great show.
Thank you, you too.
Watching. Hi, we're here at IBC 2023 with Carlo De Marchis, a guy with a scarf. I'm sure we all know him, he needs no introduction. And we're just going to talk about the past, present and future of the OTT industry. So Carlo, what do you think has been the biggest innovation over the past few years?
But to be honest, just to immediately be not disciplined like I normally am, I don't think it's pure technology per se. There are a lot of innovation in technology that have changed the way we consume sports content, etc. But the thing that caught my attention lately are things like MLS and Apple. It's a deal that can change more than, even if it's clearly based on some certain part of technology, can change a bit the landscape finally. It's Gerard Piqué Kings Leagues. You can think whatever you want about. He was able to bring with a competition that didn't exist, and it's very different from football somehow. 90,000 people in a stadium in the first season. So is it something that impacts us? Yeah, I think so. Wrexham FC, small club being bought by Hollywood actors. And that, I think, changed the perspective of sport being only sport. So the fact that sport lives in an ecosystem of entertainment, that's maybe the lesson. And especially for sport people, understanding that you're not in silos, that's maybe the latest innovation that really captured my attention.
Yeah. Sorry for the interruption there, folks. But then on to the present. What do you think has been your biggest surprise at the show this year?
I think the perception that everybody understands that this is a maturing market. I've seen reports that are not very positive on one end, but I've seen, I don't know if it will be aggregation, there will be maybe some winners and other people that will not survive. But especially understanding that it's not about vanity numbers anymore. Streaming is becoming the core consumption platform in many cases. Profitability, efficiency, And this exchange of value between the media company, the aggregators, and the user, because it's direct to consumer more and more, whatever angle you take, it's becoming the real success factor. So either you have a perceived value with your consumer, or you're not sustainable.
Excellent. And then on to the future. What do you think the next 5 years is going to look like?
I'm very curious because I don't like to do prediction. I like to work on scenarios. So what I'm seeing is big tech becoming more and more relevant in this space, and big media aggregating. But that covers a big space, but not everything. On the bottom, with all respect, is creators. And in between is traditional niche media companies, etc. So I think this space, how this space will evolve, is what we will see in the future.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Carlo.
Thank you.
This is Edward coming to you live from IBC 2023. We're here with Mike from Singular.live. He's very pleased to be here. And we're going to talk about past, present, and future, and what Mike thinks is going to happen. So, starting with the past, Mike. Over the past year or so, where do you think the biggest innovation has happened?
Well, I suppose I've got more of a generalist kind of thought on that, which is that overall, I think technology has evolved to a point where it's a lot more accessible. And that really impacts a lot of different areas of the production kind of chain. So now we've got a lot of younger people, or people who don't necessarily have a lot of experience, or even big budgets, are getting access to technologies and platforms that allow them to create really, really high quality content. And I think that's really good for a number of reasons. Firstly, it allows more people to create more content, and we know there is a huge desire and demand for content. But equally, more importantly for us anyway, it allows people who might otherwise not be able to get into the industry to have a way into it. So that can be, maybe people from disadvantaged backgrounds, maybe people who are less able-bodied, but also younger people. And there is a skills crisis in our industry as we're evolving as an industry. So getting technology into the hands of people, making them realize through things like the Rise Academy and the work they're doing, that there is this industry that most people don't know about when they're sat at home watching TV. They just, oh yeah, there's graphics, or yeah, there's a replay, or they don't know how it's, they don't know about how the sausage is made. Putting the technology out there, it lets people get their hands on it and use it and become familiar with it.
Yeah, and we could definitely use more sausage makers, so that's great.
Definitely.
And then on to the present, Mike. What's been your biggest surprise this year?
Okay, specific to IBC, I think my biggest surprise was how easy it was to get here. And that is primarily because I took the train from London. I'm lucky where I live. I literally got the tube to King's Cross St Pancras, got on the train and arrived here. And I didn't have to queue for several hours. The security, it was such a pleasant experience that I will never be flying to Amsterdam ever again.
Excellent. My biggest surprise was actually forgetting all of my pants when I packed, but that's another story.
That'll happen. We've all been there, Ed.
Yeah. And in the future then, where do you see the industry going over the next 5 years?
I think actually a lot of that has already started. And it's a lot to do with the evolution of the technology. I think historically, a lot of vendors were kind of very big companies who tried to do a kind of one size fits all, that will provide everything that you need. And actually now a lot of new companies have evolved who are very specialist. They might be a MAM system, they might be like us, they might be a graphics specific, they might be video editing, and they're best of breed, really focused on what they do. So I think there'll be a lot of collaboration, increasingly so. We're already seeing that. We've got a really big partner network, like with you guys. We've got partners who are really specialized at what they do. And through the use of APIs, we can integrate with those partners so that then the end customer has really got the option to choose what is the right solution for them, rather than kind of having some vendor lock where, oh, well, I like their cameras, but then I've got to buy all their graphic systems, their vision mixers and all. So I think that's one part of it. And yeah, I guess the other thing, which is possibly a little bit more negative, is that, in the past, there's been a lot of investment, a lot of private equity investment into our industry. And I think we're going to see over the next sort of months and years that some of that is going to try and exit our industry, and that will have a big impact. That's going to cause some consolidation. But honestly, you guys know with what you're doing, we're seeing it ourselves. Our industry has to change, and it's being forced to change. The big broadcasters, they just simply don't have the budgets that they used to have. The rights are still costing as much as they used to. So production is where the squeeze is really happening. And I think that's putting a lot of pressure on people. So yeah, I think that's going to have a big impact on our industry over the next 5 years for sure.
Great, thank you, Mike.
Absolute pleasure.
Hi, this is Edward Norton here at IBC 2023. I've got Matt with me from FX Digital, and we're going to be talking about the past, present and future of the industry. So Matt, over the past year, what's been the most interesting innovation you've seen?
It's an interesting time for sure. I think over the past year, I've kind of been looking for innovation because to me, it feels like it's been a bit slow and dry. But more recently, I think it's hard to look beyond the Vision Pro. That's been super exciting. And I think the most recent announcement from Apple that the iPhone is going to include the ability to record spatial video really opens up, what they're trying to do there. So I think, yeah, that from a content perspective is super exciting.
Definitely. Can't agree with you more there. And then in terms of the show this year, what's been your biggest surprise?
I think walking around the show, it's been really interesting to talk to many of the different partners and sort of suppliers around here. And it's been interesting to see that there's a real divide between some that think the industry is moving more towards end-to-end providers doing everything for clients, and some believe that, clients want more specialists that focus on certain things. And yeah, it's been fascinating to hear people sort of sitting on the fence and trying to decide where they think the industry is going.
Definitely, and I mean, really, is anyone actually end-to-end these days?
That's the thing, right? Like, I think anyone that says they're end-to-end is probably, telling porkies.
Definitely. So, in terms of the next 5 years, where do you see the industry going?
Well, another thing I've noticed at IBC this year is the sheer number of new devices and operating systems that are being released. And obviously, for us, existing in the connected TV space and trying to solve that fragmentation challenge for our customers, it feels like things are getting more fragmented. So, even I think yesterday I was talking to the TiVo OS guys. That's a new operating system that's sort of coming out soon. So it feels like there's one every month at the moment, and it doesn't make things easier for our customers, or of course not for us. So I think, my buzzword is probably fragmentation. Things are getting more fragmented.
Yeah, and you mentioned in the panel that even Sky alone, there's 49 different devices.
Well, exactly, right? Like if you take providers like Sky, I think I did Sky and Comcast in collaboration there, and you actually dig into the different devices they have and think about the different operating systems and the different chipsets. Like, I think I looked at the list and there was about 49 that are in the market, and it's that's just emphasises my point here, which is that the fragmentation is real.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Matt. Hope you've had a great show. And thank you for listening. Well, that concludes this special edition of Beyond the Stream. It was recorded at the International Broadcast Convention in Amsterdam. If you've enjoyed the episode, then please do subscribe on your chosen podcast platform to stay up to date with when the latest episode will drop. We also have a newsletter that's released every other week, and it's called Unboxed. If you've enjoyed some of the content that we've talked about today, then you'll definitely enjoy the newsletter too. We're also pleased to announce that Simplestream has won the Streaming Media European Innovation Award for our livestream scheduler, and TVB Europe Best of Show for our newest product, Channel Studio. So thank you once again for listening, and thank you to our guests. We'll see you next time.